Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Jason Wehrli with WCFab. Today we have our LB7 Duramax high flow Y bridge kit. The LB7 Duramax is the OG truck of WCFab and what started it all for us, and we still offer a complete product line for the 01 to 04 LB7. We offer bundle kits, twin turbo kits, single turbo kits, everything you can think of for the LB7. What we have here today is our very popular 3-inch high flow Y bridge kit. The 3-inch high flow Y bridge is one of the very first products that I manufactured when I started the business nearly 14 years ago. It's changed a lot since then. One of the most notorious issues on the LB7 cold side intercooler pipe is the boot connection at the intercooler. It's an angled intercooler boot, and they're very thin and they're notorious for tearing open and leaking. When we set out to design upgraded intercooler pipes for the LB7, one of the biggest things is getting rid of those angled intercooler boots, both on the hot side and on the cold side. The cold side, we use a 3-inch straight silicone boot, high quality, made in the USA, 5-ply boot that connects to our 3-inch 14-gauge mandrel bent intercooler pipe. So we route the pipe a little bit differently than OEM so that the pipe can be direct shot to the intercooler versus having to use that angled intercooler boot. Similar in size, the OEM pipe is aluminum as well, a little bit thinner wall, but the biggest issue with the OEM pipe, aside from the angled boot at the bottom, is at its connection to the Y bridge. The factory intercooler pipe that you can see here necks down to about 2 3/8 of an inch before connecting to the bridge. We've got our pipe designed for a full 3-inch flow all the way to the Y bridge, connecting to our bridge with another 3-inch straight silicone boot. From the intercooler pipe, we move on to the high flow Y bridge, one of the nicest components of the whole kit. This replaces the very, very restrictive OEM Y bridge. The factory bridge measures in at about 2 3/8 of an inch. What we have is a full 3-inch high flow bridge, mandrel bent 14-gauge aluminum on the top section, into a billet aluminum CNC machined lower section. So this bridge is pretty phenomenal compared to factory. Being a full 3-inch track the whole way, on the flow bench, this Y bridge flows 50% greater than the OEM bridge does. 420 CFM versus 630 CFM on our 3-inch high flow bridge. If you've got a early 2001 model LB7, you'll notice that this bridge looks a little bit different. The bridge in our kit replicates more so what the OEM bridge looks like in an 02 to 04 application, meaning it's got the bend built into it. On the 01 Y bridge, they end right about here, and again use another angled boot to connect to the intercooler pipe. So the 01 application we upgrade to be more like the 02 to 04 style, using a straight boot connection to the intercooler pipe. We include an 1/8 inch threaded port on the back side of the Y bridge for connection of any boost gauge or other type of sensor. And then we also have the map sensor port as well welded onto the bridge. Again, if you have an 01 LB7, a lot of things were different on that very first model year. The 2001 LB7, you'll find the factory map sensor is actually located on the passenger side intake runner. And it's conveniently located directly underneath the Y bridge. Now, with our bridge being so much larger than factory, it does not clear that OEM location of the map sensor. So if you've got an 01 LB7, after you pull your factory bridge out, you will be required to remove that factory map sensor and tap that hole where the map sensor sat to a 1/4 inch NPT and install a plug in it. And you will then relocate your sensor to the same location found on the 02 to 04, which is on the bridge itself, using our supplied map sensor seal and hold down bracket. Now this is a small item that a lot of the competition overlooks. Again, we're dealing with a 20-plus-year-old truck, and trying to reuse seals and things like that is never a good idea. So we include a new gasket seal for the map sensor itself, as well as a new straight style hold down bracket to replace the factory angled bracket. So how else do we make this bridge so much bigger than the factory unit? One of the biggest bottlenecks in the factory application is the fuel pressure relief valve that you can see here that sits right above the OEM bridge. On the end of that fuel pressure relief valve is a large banjo fitting with a hardline assembly. What we include with our Y bridge kit is what's known as a fuel pressure relief valve delete. And this package allows you to remove the large banjo bolt and hardline system that's on the end of that fuel pressure relief valve, installing our fuel pressure plug, and replacing that hardline with supplied fuel hose, T-fitting, and hose clamps. Getting rid of the end of the assembly on that fuel pressure relief valve allows all the room for that larger bridge to sit down there, as you can see here in the installed application. Another thing to note that we get a lot of questions about on installation of these Y bridges, on all Duramax Y bridges, we do supply a new O-ring seal for the bridge flange to the intake runner, and it is a very important note that when installing the Y bridge on a Duramax, the 4 lower holes of the bridge on the intake runners are an angled stud. You need to install those 4 lower bolts first in a crisscross pattern, and that actually takes the Y bridge, because it's in a V shape, and sucks it down into place, which then allows you to install your 4 upper bolts. So what does all this mean for you with your LB7? If you have a bone stock truck, you're not going to notice a huge difference. This isn't a 20 horsepower bolt-on upgrade. Yes, your engine's going to breathe better. Yes, you're going to have more reliability, getting rid of the angled boots and some of the worn out components on your 20-plus-year-old truck. But where this product really shines is when you're upgrading tuning or upgrading other performance parts on the engines like turbochargers. These LB7s came out of the factory with just about 300 horsepower is all, and with a simple tune and turbocharger, they can very quickly make 550, 600 horsepower. When you double the output of the factory engine from what the engineers figured 25 years ago, you will run into issues with how well those factory parts flow. So getting these high flow components, again, the Y bridge flowing 50% better than the OEM bridge, is going to let your engine breathe so much easier and work so much more efficiently, and help you produce more power in an application where you're dealing with upgraded turbochargers and higher boost levels, performance tuning, etc. It's a pretty straightforward install, much easier than some of the later model year Duramax platforms. It's not required to remove the turbocharger to install this kit, so it can be done if you're just doing performance tuning as well. You will also find this high flow 3-inch bridge is an included component in all of our upgraded turbocharger kits. If you're doing an S300, S400 style upgraded single charger, or our S400 over stock style compound kit, you'll have this same high flow Y bridge in that style turbo kit. This color here is our very popular WCFab red, along with WCFab gray, gloss black, and gloss white will be our in-stock colors. If you're in a hurry to get a kit, if you're in the middle of a project on your truck and decide you want to upgrade, we've got a handful of colors to pick from that are available to ship quick. If you got a little extra time, you can wait, or you want to do a custom color, we've got hundreds of different colors that you can pick from. So if you've got any other questions about our LB7 upgrades, feel free to leave a comment or reach out to our sales team, or check out the website. Like I said, we've got a complete product line for the LB7. It is the truck that started our business, and we will never stop making product for the good old LB7. So thanks a lot for watching. If you've got any other questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks again.